Now, I want to talk a little bit about used car prices as we wrap up the show here, because this is something that I think is very emblematic of the world we live in right now. It is perhaps also a sign of the economy as a whole, and some uncertainty that I think people have right now. And that is used car prices. Hat Tip Car and Driver, they have an article here, quote, used car prices have been climbing for 5 months now. And they say that the average price of a 1 to 5 year old used vehicle is $31,770, which is up from July 2024 about $1,100, $1,146 to be specific. So that's a measurable increase. You'll feel that in your pocket. $1,100 more compared to roughly this time last year. I know we're getting into September here, but the numbers only go up to July right now. But and there's been month-to-month price growth. March, a 1% growth then. April, 1.8%. May, 2%. June, 4.8%. And the reason for this, I think, breaks down into multiple reasons, which is, for one, consumer demand is up. People want cars. People need cars. But they're not necessarily wanting to buy new cars. Not only that, I think there's some concerns. There's certainly some uncertainty when it comes to tariffs. So people are wanting to avoid purchasing a brand new vehicle that could experience tariffs, and they're immediately opting for used vehicles. Is that necessarily a bad thing? There's a lot of great used vehicles out there. I think more people should buy used in general. A lot of people jump to buying new and discover what depreciation is, which that there's now granted, Wesley Kagan, as you may recall, probably has the most depreciated car in the world. That's maybe a little bit of an outlier, but you can expect a heavy amount of depreciation anytime you're purchasing a new vehicle. And when we look at this, we see some of that uncertainty with tariffs. I've talked about the tariffs before on this show. We haven't done an update on it, and I think I want to dedicate a really good portion of a show to doing a little bit of a tariff update. It's challenging, though, because stuff changes so quickly, but I want to be able to do that coming up here in the future. But my take on the tariffs is we need to onshore manufacturing in the United States significantly. Auto manufacturing is a big key of that. The automotive supply chain is so globalized. You know, remember what happened back during COVID? And the supply chains got shut down, and what that did to car prices, what that did to available inventory, what that did to all of these different things. And I think that being able to onshore a lot of that production is going to be really important for the long term. Now, I did say as well that I don't know tariff-wise if that is necessarily the best tool to get to that point, because, and even if it is or isn't, I feel like one of the things that hasn't been explained a lot is the process behind it, the thought process behind a lot of the details. Okay, if we do this, if we do X, what's the result? And I think people are uncertain. What that causes is, well, uncertainty. And people say, I don't know about buying a new car right now. I'm going to get something used for the time being. You should go certified pre-owned, by the way. That's my official advice here. I will always tell you to go certified pre-owned. If you want a new car and you don't want as much depreciation, and you still want it to be reliable and have a warranty and all that, certified pre-owned's awesome. You cannot go, in my opinion, you cannot go wrong with that. But I digress. So, you know, and I think people, you know, just don't want to show up at the dealer and pay those tariff prices, even though I think a lot of people are also not realizing that dealers have a lot of inventory that is pre-tariff still. They got a ton of inventory that's pre-tariff. And by that, I mean those parts, those vehicles, all of that stuff came in before the tariffs went into effect. Interestingly, in this breakdown, the EV market does turn out to be an exception. While used car prices across the board are going up, EV prices are actually falling. So, for example, here, the same figures found in May, EV prices went down negative 8.8%. They went down 4.8% in June, and they went down another 1.3% in July. And which is interesting. And Tesla values, especially, they found, dropped significantly as well. Now, what does this actually mean for all of us? I mean, it's good if you're a seller right now, because the demand is there and people are willing to pay a higher price right now. Will that demand hold out? Will people's, even if that demand holds out, will people's willingness to pay higher prices sustain itself? I don't necessarily think so. I think we saw this a lot during COVID when the new car supply dried up because of manufacturing supply chain shortfalls, and we got this bubble in the used car market. And we got this big bubble, and that bubble burst, and then we got down to the bottom again, and now we're going back up. It's another bubble in that used car market. So, I mean, if you've got a used car and you want to sell it right now, it's not a bad time to do that. Now, bear in mind, if you're a buyer wanting to do it, also keep in mind that other people are really wanting to do used cars. There's gonna be more competition when it comes to buying them, especially if you're buying them private party. You might be reaching out to a seller on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, and he may have like 10 inquiries already, and that can make it a little difficult. You might have to haggle more. You might have to put up a little bit more money. It really depends on there. EVs, though, are shaping up to be a good value if you do need something. If your use case fits an EV, that's not a bad value right now. Just know that they're going to keep depreciating further. So you're going to buy into an EV, a depreciated one, and then it's going to continue to depreciate. You will lose money on it. So, but again, I think it's interesting how the used car market really is reflective of what's going on in the economy. It's a good economic indicator as to what is actually happening and what's going on, because it reflects people's wallets, and that wallet reflects what's going on in both their lives, but on the macro scale and the bigger economic sense on this. And, if you're trying to, I will say too, I've seen a little bit of an increase too in like parts prices and things like that. Used, again, like trying to buy them in Facebook groups and all that. I've seen stuff going up slowly but surely. So we'll have to see how long this turns out to be a bubble. We'll have to see how changing tariff policy affects it too, because that's changing constantly. You don't know what's going to happen right now. So anyway, hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe to this show on YouTube and Spotify. We'll talk to you next week right here.